The trial of Oscar Pistorius, a South African amputee Olympian who shot his girlfriend to death on Valentine's Day last year, is mesmerising people across the globe. Testimony has included reports of blood-curdling screams on the night that Reeva Steenkamp was killed, and claims that Pistorius was trigger-happy and a jealous lover. The athlete, nicknamed the Blade Runner, has pleaded not guilty to murder and contends that he mistook Steenkamp for an intruder. The Times Johannesburg bureau chief, Robyn Dixon, has been following the trial and joins us from Pretoria to share some of the highlights. Hello, Robyn.
Hello, Anne.
So tell us, Robyn, what has been some of the most gripping testimony so far?
Well, I think last week when we heard a neighbour, the doctor Stip, describing Pistorius' demeanour when he came into the house after the shooting, it was very, very dramatic. Pistorius was crying, he was weeping, he was praying and begging to God that please let Reeva live. And today we also had some fairly dramatic moments. Oscar Pistorius was retching and vomiting and weeping as evidence was heard from a pathologist about the kinds of injuries that Reeva Steenkamp suffered after she was shot that night.
So it's obvious that he's been extremely upset. Has that been his general demeanour, and what has his family reaction been like?
He was much calmer last week than the tearful, shaking figure we saw in last year's bail hearing. But that collapsed today. He really was very, very emotional. His sister Amy and his brother Carl were comforting him for long periods during the breaks in the trial today. And he was very, very, very emotionally upset and very, very disturbed. And his lawyer, Barry Rue, told the court that as this very graphic testimony from the pathologist went on, that Pistorius' emotions were not really going to improve as the day went on.
Now, I understand that South Africa's judicial system actually allows just a judge to hear this trial. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, in this case, there is a judge, Thokozile Masipa, and also two assessors. And those assessors are there to help her to reach the conclusion as to whether or not the state has proved its case that he did commit premeditated murder beyond reasonable doubt. And the majority of those three, the judge and two assessors, will be the finding for this trial.
And Robyn, how has this case been playing, this trial, in South Africa? I mean, it's been mesmerising people across the globe. Has it had wall-to-wall coverage there?
It has had very, very intensive coverage. We have one cable network that is devoted just to this trial. We've had politicians come to the court. Members of the Women's League of the ruling party have been there in the court very often. And it is lighting Twitter up regularly, so it really is very, very hot here in South Africa as well.
And just lastly, just to wrap up, is Pistorius expected to take the stand? What can we expect in the next coming days?
Well, under the legal system here, he does not have to take the stand. He's entitled to deliver a statement or not to take the stand at all. But there is an expectation that he will take the stand to defend his version of what happened that night. And I think in coming days we can expect to hear more experts from the prosecution. And at the end of it all, I think we're going to have two very exact timelines, one from the prosecutor and one from the defense, as to what happened on that night. We're probably expecting the case could go for about another 6 weeks.
Wow. So thank you so much, Robyn. Very interesting. We'll be continuing to follow. For more on this story, visit latimes.com and follow us on Twitter @LATimes.